This episode of the All About Nothing podcast is sponsored by listeners like you and Big Media LLC, encouraging you to check your voter registration. In a world where every voice counts, ensuring your registration is accurate and up to date is the simplest, most effective way to guarantee your vote is heard. Don't leave your participation to chance. Take a moment today and verify your status and stay ready for the next election by visiting theallaboutnothing.com/voter.
So, I've got this shirt from ZJZDesigns.com. It's one of their Thanksgiving prints, and I wore it to family dinner last year. I got more compliments on that thing than any of the food that we brought. Seriously, their stuff is clever, it's comfy, and it's always a conversation starter. Whether you're into spooky Halloween teas, patriotic vibes, or you just want something original that doesn't look like it came from a big box store, check them out. ZJZ Designs. They've got new prints all the time, and I guarantee you'll find one that fits your vibe. Check out ZJZDesigns.com.
Welcome, Nothingers, to the All About Nothing podcast. I am Barrett Gruber. You can follow me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. Please subscribe and share the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting the show financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member and proudly calling yourself a true Nothinger. I'll have more details on that at the end of the show. Can't do that, please give us a 5-star review, a like, and follow us across social media. You can find links at theallaboutnothing.com. Want to thank Alex Avenger and all of the Everplay social group how that's come out last week for the kickball game. Go back and watch that episode if you haven't yet, or go listen to it, because it was one of the most entertaining kickball games I think I've seen in a long time. I think there were 3 grand slams. There were double plays. It was a really interesting and fun game to watch. So again, thanks to Alex Avenger for that. League sign up deadline registration is August 19th. Anything after that is late registration. You get those white shirts, but lots to do. Kickball, not dodgeball, pickleball, cornhole, softball, just basketball. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to do. Go check it out, everplaysocial.com. All right. So today, we got something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about books. Specifically, we're talking about murder, mystery, and a little bit of South Carolina history, because our guest today has managed to turn a lake about 12 minutes from here into the setting for a full-blown murder mystery series. Stephen Jacobs is a Columbia, South Carolina author who has started out writing World War II historical fictions about U-boats, spies, and the whole era, and has put out more than a dozen books. But lately, he's shifting gears into mystery and suspense, and his Lake Murray Mystery series is set right here in Lexington County, pulling from the kind of small-town secrets and rumors that make for a really good story. So we're going to get into that and how Stephen went from history buff to published novelist, what it's like writing mysteries set in a place where you actually live, and what's next. So, Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
I want to say we met you and Carly at Hollow Creek Distillery.
That's right.
For, I guess it was one of the stops along the agricultural thing.
Yeah.
Really glad that we met you, because ultimately I'm intrigued by people that write.
Right.
Because I can't do it.
Sure you can. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
You say that. I sit down sometimes and I think I'm going to write a book about my life, and a biography maybe mixed with a little bit of trying to patch in the holes that I can't remember.
Right.
And I just sit there and blankly stare at it like, why would somebody read this? What am I doing? So take me back. Where are you from? How did you get here? Why we're here now?
Well, I'm originally from Wilmington, North Carolina, about 3.5 hours from here. I moved here about 25, maybe 30 years ago now.
Okay.
Where I just picked up and stayed. I had aunts and uncles that lived here. I initially came here one summer to help an uncle doing work during the summertime, and I just liked it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of never went home.
I mean, I moved here to South Carolina in 2001, and I moved here from Atlanta. So it was a big city to a much smaller city, and ultimately I didn't know that I would stay for as long as I have, but 25 years later,
right.
I can't imagine living anywhere besides here unless it's somewhere like in Europe, like Norway, or one of those places that doesn't expect to have summers like we have.
Right.
The
summers here are brutal.
Yeah.
Sure.
So how did you get into writing about World War II? What was the drive for that?
I've always been, even since I was in high school, a history buff. I've always read books and books and books and dozens of books on history, World War II, military history, anything having to do with U.S. history. I used to read it. It didn't matter what it was. Well, about 15 years ago now, I worked at the time with an older lady who has now retired from work, and she confessed to me one day she had written a book, and she told me how she had done it through Amazon and how the whole setup worked and everything. And at the time, I was having trouble finding the next book that I wanted to read because I just looked and looked, could not find nothing. I said,
yeah.
What I know about history and everything, I could do what she did and maybe make my own book. So after about a little bit of trial and error, it took me about a year to write the first one, but that's where it all started from. The first book came out, Disappearance of U-491, and it took off pretty good, actually.
Where did go ahead, I'm sorry.
No.
I was just gonna say, where did that love for history come from?
It came, believe it or not, I used to be the kid that sat on the couch with my dad every Saturday and every Sunday, watched old World War II movies, John Wayne, the Henry Fondas, the Westerns, and the World War II movies, and it just blew up from there.
Yeah, I think I think back to watching television with my grandfather, and I think we watched Gunsmoke a lot.
Yeah,
but he was a fan of it was the early 90s when we would watch television and things like that. But, there were some documentaries on VHS. VHS, by the way, was a magnetic film tape that ran through a video cassette recorder player. Anyway, it was a long time ago. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we would watch some of his documentaries, and I think because he had been in World War II,
right.
It was. I think he liked seeing those stories. I have a friend that has a podcast, Luke Basso, I'm sorry, who actually sits down with veterans and will have them tell the stories. And some of these veterans that he sat down all the way back to World War II. But it's, and I keep encouraging him to continue to do it because there is such a desire for people to hear those real life stories and actually get them documented, because otherwise they're, we're losing some of these veterans.
Yeah. One time I'd heard there was I forget, it was 500 or 1,000 veterans a day were passing away every day. So all their stories, like you said, all their stories are slowly disappearing, going away.
Yeah. And he does a really good job of it. So check out Pearl History. No, you know what? I'm not going to give it. I'll just put it in the show notes because I can't remember it. It's my dementia. If the president's good enough to go through it, I can too. You said your dad got you into World War movies growing up. Was there a specific movie or story that really hooked you?
Yeah. Well, we used to always watch the original PT-109s when it came on.
Okay.
The original Midways with the Henry Fondas and all the big name folks. So that's where it all started.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some definite classics.
John Wayne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I even if they're in black and white, if I happen to see them on sometimes, I'll just watch an old war. It may not even be about the war, it's some love story, but the video, the film, the photography and everything like that they did was just incredible.
Yeah. Right now it's a new, well, not a new movie anymore, but Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
That is my all-time favorite movie because it is so realistic in what they actually went through. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan was fantastic. I think around that same time we got HBO's Band of Brothers.
Yes, that's another very good series.
Just unbelievable the story that they were able to tell, along with just capturing there have been several veterans that I've heard speak on it and said that it's so true to what their experience was.
Right.
So
and there's, of course, the one that's built off of that, the Pacific.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just as good.
Yeah. I think there's they look at some of the stories like just recently the Matt Damon movie, The Odyssey came out. And to me, that's so Hollywood that I can't imagine that they capture, it's too far back. And The Odyssey, of course, is a fiction anyway, potentially. I guess. I don't know. Maybe Atlantis is real. Who knows? But I think it's hard to make that feel real now. And there's so much CGI involved in the movies and the stories that they tell now. But Saving Private Ryan wasn't, and Band of Brothers was not. So it's I feel I can tell a lot of people get attached to the era of our World Wars and Vietnams and things like that, just because of the potential to have so much history recorded from them.
And see, that's another thing, like World War II. One thing that I really enjoyed is that at one point in time, there wasn't anybody alive on the planet that didn't know something about World War II was going on. Or knew somebody that was in the war. So the stories are endless.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why I actually started writing World War II era books to start with.
When you were writing about, World War II or spies and things like that, are you pulling from any actual factual stuff in order to write the book? I mean, I assume some of it's based on something true, but then it's just a story created around it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I took a lot of things that are actually real and true and made a story to fit the facts.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I could do that.
Like the U-boat book.
Yeah.
Was really a U-boat named that. It did go to places where I said it could go. It dove what's mentioned in the book. It acted like it was in the book. All that kind of stuff is real and true. The story itself as a whole, though, is not.
Right.
Right.
But otherwise it'd be a 15-page documentary book or something like, I think what you do is really neat because I don't think that I have that talent. You didn't actually publish your first book until your mid-40s.
Yeah.
What took so long?
Like I said, I had never, ever considered it until I talked to my coworker that one day, and that got the wheels spinning. And it took a year to to make the first one.
Yeah.
And until I pressed that button and sent it to Amazon, I had no idea whether it was going to work. I had no idea it was formatted properly or anything. I had no clue. It was all completely self-taught.
Yeah. The process of having Amazon publish it, do you have to go through the process of with like audiobook versions? Do you have to go through the process of listening to people audition?
Well, see, I don't have an.
You don't have one yet?
Yeah, so we don't really know.
Okay.
It's a little bit on the expensive side for audio versions. So we have not ventured into that yet.
Okay. Well, if you do, I'd be more than happy to audition. I have auditioned for many audiobooks and been turned down for many. So honestly, it's a fun process, and Amazon does make it really easy for vocal artists to do that sort of thing. I'm not suggesting anyone else do it because I'd prefer to, the pool to be smaller. But it is really interesting. I think the last one that I did was a book about how to own and rent property. So it was a how-to book. And of course, this sultry voice was just perfect for that. What is it like, or what was it like balancing government career and wanting to write on the side?
For me, it wasn't that hard because we go to work at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and we don't get up usually at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I'd get up first thing in the morning, 6 o'clock or so and write a couple of hours and then go do my normal work stuff. So it didn't really interfere one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay. You spent a good chunk of your career writing World War II historical fictions. What made you want to pivot into mysteries and suspense?
A few years back, I realized in talking with another author friend of mine, that my books only sold specifically to males. They were all tailored for men because, only men read World War II era books.
Sure.
So I wanted to try something a little bit different where I could get the more female audience. And I started realizing that he made a good point. Most of the people that read books these days, not most of the, but a lot of the women read books are females. They do a lot more reading than males do. So I thought, they do like murder mystery, so let me try murder mystery book. And it actually, one thing led to another, and Lake Murray Murders was born.
When you started writing suspense and murder, was there anyone in your life that you tailored some of the characters after? And do they know?
Oh man, there's a lot of my coworkers are in my book.
Oh yeah,
especially ones that I don't. Let's just say several have been killed off many times.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I do it in real life, so I could do it in a book.
There you go. Fine. There you go. It's not a terroristic threat whatsoever. Yeah.
No.
That's great. Yeah. I think back to the things that I would think would be interesting to write in a memoir or something like that. And most of it, when I think of them, I think of disagreements that I've had with people that would ultimately make me probably just look like an asshole. But it's always about, conversations or back and forth with somebody and how that could be built into a story.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of my coworkers now, all my coworkers know I write books, and the big thing with them now is don't make you mad or else he'll kill you off.
That's great. You know what? That's a valid threat too.
Yeah.
That's great. I like that. The Lake Murray Murders is set right here in Lexington County. What brings or why is it that you wanted to bring the stories to where you live?
Funny story. Where I used to live in North Carolina was the very first murder mystery because it's what I know the most history about. And it was called the Whiskey Creek Murders because I used to live directly off of Whiskey Creek.
Okay.
And once that book was produced and once it was set out, people in the area picked it up and they really enjoyed it because they knew the local places and the local areas. And once I saw how well that book did for the locals, so got Lake Murray here. Why not let's try something with Lake Murray? And I did that's when the Lake Murray Murders came from. So, but honestly, it did not, for about the first week or two, couple of weeks, it did not really sell that well until one lady, and I cannot remember who she was. And I'm sorry. If you're listening, I'm sorry. But she picked it up. She bought one book, put it on the Lake Murray
Chronicle?
Lake Murray Lifestyle Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
And put a picture of it. Says, has anybody read this? And the next thing I know, it just started going.
That's great.
And it just started taking off of one Facebook post.
That's incredible. Yeah, it is. As much as I dismiss the value of the Facebook community, it's the communities inside of Facebook that really benefit local authors, local businesses, things like that. So that's encouraging to see because it some of the shine comes back on social media.
Absolutely. We've put on there several times in several of the books. I've put it on the Lake Murray website, the Lake Murray Lifestyle webpage, whatever it was, Facebook page. Hey, I'm getting ready to do another book. Does anybody have any suggestions or any mysteries or anything that's happened around the lake? Or do you have a business that would like to be included in my next book. And without a doubt, always get responses. And we had to sit there and go through them. What can I use? What can I not use?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
When you look at some of the mysteries that go on, I know recently we had a woman go missing, and they did identify her. She was over in the Lexington area. But there's still a lot of information that we don't have about what it is that happened to her or what she went through before they ultimately found her. Is that a story that potentially intrigues you, that would potentially, not saying you would write about that,
right,
but that you would write something similar or something that would give some sort of, I don't know, maybe an homage to her. I mean, I don't know anything about her except that she was a personal fitness trainer. But is that potentially a story that later on you would potentially say, let me see if I can figure something out with that?
Possibly, but when I make these, all my books have something to do with practically all of them have something to do with history or the historical value of the area. That is possible that I could do something, but right now, that particular murder,
event
is still raw to the community, so I probably wouldn't do anything with that right now.
Yeah,
but maybe in the future sometime.
Have you ever thought about sci-fi or anything fantasy?
Yeah, I actually have. I have not done one, but I have thought about it. Yeah. That's about as far as it went.
Yeah. No, I get that. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of authors that travel outside of the genres that they typically write in. I can't think. Dan Brown does religion and whatever else, but ultimately, I don't think I could see Dan Brown writing about Mars,
right?
And it's not because I don't think he could. I just think that I think most people become fans of the author, and then they read everything they publish, and then if you were to throw a wild card in there, it might confuse them.
It would confuse them.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of people say, as long as you keep writing these Late Murrays, we'll keep reading it.
Yeah.
So, and I've had plans. Yeah. The Scarlet's Revenge is a little bit of a different one for me for sure. But, I've had plans to have another series called Hunter Gray, and he's a private detective in the 1920s.
Okay.
I've had plans to go back and work on some more of his books, but Lake Murray's been taking up my time lately because they just want them.
Yeah.
So as long as they keep selling, they keep asking for more books. So as long as they keep asking for them, I'll keep writing them.
You've written and had published more than a dozen books. How difficult is it to read other authors for you and not sit there and just critique it or think about how you would have done something differently?
It is odd. Now, I hadn't really thought about the question, but yeah, it is odd. I have tried to read several other books. I'm like, I get halfway through it and I'll just lose interest in it. Like, now I'm done. It's not, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is different for sure.
Do you prefer to have something in your hands to read, like an actual book, or would you consider reading off of like a displayed device, a Kindle or phone or whatever?
Yeah, got both.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do have both.
I know people that specifically will not read off of an electronic device. They have, and I kind of agree. I prefer to have the physical tactile touch.
Right.
There is a pleasure to looking and seeing your bookmark and seeing how far you've gotten. Of course, it's not an achievement, I guess. It's just finishing the story. But yeah, I think that a lot of people sometimes they read on assignment, and I'm guilty of it too. I will set aside specific books like that I'm reading for the entire summer. So right now I'm working through my summer reading list, And out of nowhere, I threw another one into it, which has not been the easiest read, but I'm working my way through it, and I will finish it at the end of this weekend. But it's kind of thrown my schedule off.
Right.
So it's one of those weird things.
Well, it's probably getting out of order for you, but that's one reason why my books are so thin. I purposely make them shorter, easy to read, easy to follow for people who don't have a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
You can just sit there and go through them in a day if you wanted to by the pool.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's great.
That's another reason why they're almost always, the Lake Murray murders anyway, are always nice and short. They're 175, less than 200 pages. You can do it in a weekend easily.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. How much of the town, the lake, the culture down here made it into the books versus what you had to invent?
Well, it depends on which book. I mean, like book 2 or book 3 has quite a bit of the history of what was underneath the lake and, the old towns that are down there, that kind of thing. Some of the things I did have to invent, like in some Indian parts of one of the books was a mixture of different Indians, like the Lumbee Indians in North Carolina and the Indians that were here. There used to be an Indian tribe in the late 1600s, early 1700s that actually lived in what it used to be a valley where Lake Murray is.
Sure.
Now.
Yeah.
And they just picked up and left, and they don't really know why. And I'm not going to go, I don't want to go too much into it, but that is the basis of one of the books.
Okay. And the whole series works as far as the Lake Murray mysteries, or the Lake Murray murders is a series that you can't jump into the middle of it. I assume it's better for you if you start with book 1.
For the background characters, for the characters, yes. You learn the characters stay the same throughout almost all the books. The individual stories themselves are completely different, except for a couple of them where you do need to read them in order because one book leads directly to the next book. So, yeah, you kind of need to read them in order to get the full effect of the storylines and how everything flows, but it's not necessary.
So let's say Warner Brothers approaches you one day and says, "We want to turn Lake Murray mysteries or murders into a television series or a 3-movie deal." Who do you think would be the most appropriate casting for some of your characters? You got to think about these things.
I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever.
Tom Holland's very popular.
I do know the people that I had envisioned when I made the characters, like Detective Cross in the book. He is based on a real person from history. His name was Big Nims. There's one known picture of him, and he was a big, tall, burly black guy in World War I. And he's in the picture. He has a great big smile on his face with a perfect set of teeth. And the sad thing is, nobody knows what happened to him. He's named one time. He's in the picture one time, and that's it. Nobody knows whether he lived or died. But he is a combination of, Cross is a combination of him and a couple of other characters. And Amy Stone is a combination of a couple of characters that I cannot think of the name of that movie, that show now to save my life. But she was a police detective that was on TV a few years back, and my mind just went absolute blank. But
Queen Latifah.
No, it wasn't her. I could see the name. I could see her plain as day.
Yeah,
I can't think of the name of it right now. But
I guess that would be that would ultimately be the answer then, is that sometimes when you're creating characters in your head, if you're trying to envision because when I read books, it all plays out in my head. I have the ability to see whatever it is that the author wants me to see. I can create that in my head.
Right.
That's why sometimes for movies, the difference between reading a book and watching the movie, for me, a lot of the story gets lost because I'm confused about why the movie had this character go this direction, or why they chose, not that it's any of my business. I'm just there for the entertainment value of it. But for some reason, those are the things I think about. But when authors specifically write and create the imagery enough for me to see it, then sometimes I can see whoever it was that they envisioned for that character. And and to know that an author would potentially use real life people to try and create a cross of their characters.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. I think that's really neat. I know you mentioned it as far as local readers and how they've taken to it with your writing and Facebook and things like that. But have they ever reached out about recognizing some of the things that in your stories that they remember from maybe even perhaps their own memories or history?
Not necessarily from history, but I have talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have sent me messages through Facebook and that kind of stuff that really enjoy reading about and knowing some of the places, recognizing some of the places that I'm talking about, like Creekside Restaurant in Lexington.
Oh, yeah.
And the Old Mill is prevalent in all of these books. Well, people get excited because they know Creekside, they know the layout if they go off, and then they realize that that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Did you have to sit at Creekside at breakfast one day and actually use the atmosphere and everything to inspire?
Well,
you've eaten there plenty.
I've eaten there, for years and years and years. I know the owner, Kurt Pidgey.
Okay.
And I've been going to his restaurant ever since he opened it. So
I confess, I have eaten there on many occasions, and the pancakes and I don't remember what the actual menu item is called, but it's 2 eggs, a couple pieces of sausage, and then 2 enormous pancakes.
Yeah.
It's really good. Creekside Restaurant, they're open Monday through Saturday or something like that, and they're open early, which is nice for my schedule. So right. That's great. More than a dozen books out now. Has your process changed from how you started writing?
A little bit, yeah. At first, the first few books, I just made it up as I went. I kind of winged it. But now I sit down. I do have a program, kind of like a storyboard program. How movies, when they start in a movie, they make storyboards.
Sure, yeah.
I do the same thing with my book, so that way I have it all lined up, how the story is going to go before I even type the first word.
Yeah.
And I've got a good picture, a good layout in my mind of how everything's going to happen and how everything's going to fall now before I ever start typing.
Have you ever suffered from writer's block?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? Like what does it feel like to go through not being able to do something that has ultimately, I assume, been pretty easy for you?
Yeah. It's odd. It's odd, I guess, the best ways. It's like if I'm having trouble with a story and I can't get my character from point A where he is to point B, and I can't figure out how I'm going to do it, it's almost like waking up from a dream that you just had, but it's going away and you can't remember it. It's right there, but you can't make it.
Yeah.
You can't make it work out in your head, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
How do you get past that?
Coworkers.
Oh, yeah.
I do bounce stuff off of coworkers and that kind of stuff. Hey, look, this is the problem that I've got. What would you do if you were this guy?
I wasn't sure if the bouncing off of your coworkers was literally.
This is true too.
Yeah. For the record, he pointed at Carly. He throws stuff at you? Oh, okay.
Yes. But like,
okay.
For instance, I have a coworker that he's a retired detective, and he used to work on crime scenes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So during my murder scenes, I would say, look, what's the sequence of events if this were to happen? And he go, oh, you just do this, and they would do this. They would take pictures first, and then they start moving stuff around, So he's really great for helping with crime scenes.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's interesting to hear the method of how you get from point A to point B, and then even like interacting with professionals,
right,
in order to build out. Does it ever feel like that's like filler for the storyline, as far as like what the process like a detective would go through or what a police?
Sometimes, but I try to minimize, like you said, all the fillers, so that way the storyline just kind of keeps moving. That's one reason I guess why my books are so short, because it doesn't have a lot of the other stuff in it. What I've come to realize is, when writing books, if you had to sit down and reread a chapter 2 or 3 times, or several different pages, or take notes in a chapter to figure out what's going on, that takes the fun out of reading it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I try to make them pretty as straightforward as I can, but also leaving a little bit to the imagination, so you don't know who's going to be the bad guy in the end, or whatever the case may be.
Can I tell you the one book that I think back to, the number of times I had to reread chapters to get through it, was the Bible.
Oh, of course.
And the number of times that I would read things and it was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, or trying to ultimately figure out motivations for things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, worst book in the world when it comes to, in my opinion, a story that trying to work through motivations. Why does this character do this in order to achieve this? And then having it just drop off.
Yeah.
I think, one of the authors that I thought was the most guilty, the most often, of writing books where the story is moving along, it's rising to a climax, and then all of a sudden a volcano opens up in the Congo and Michael Crichton has paid his rent. Like that, those are the stories I think about sometimes when it comes to like really successful authors,
right,
that I feel like at the end of it, they're like, oh, well, the book's due, so I'll kill all the gorillas with a volcano. And it's just like, Jurassic Park ends, it's one of those things I struggle with some of those mainstream authors. You mentioned you outline your mysteries now in advance with a storyboard. Was that something that you figured out to do on your own, or was it through just conversations with others, or method how other authors write?
Yeah, conversations.
Yeah.
Again, I hate to keep bringing it up with Facebook.
Yeah.
Several different writing pages on Facebook, and one of them had mentioned that they use this specific program for that very purpose, and I gave it a try and I loved it. So that's what I've been using ever since.
That's great. Yeah. How many books do you publish, say, in a 5-year span? Peanut gallery.
If I'm lucky, I'll do 2 a year.
Oh, okay.
3 a year, maybe, depending on how lengthy they are and how much research I have to do and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
how helpful is it, or I guess how difficult is it to find in-depth information into some of the local stories here in Lexington? Does it ever involve like sitting down with someone who was potentially a witness to something?
I have not done that.
Yeah.
I have talked to several people who have or actually one person who has taken us into a neighborhood that's right directly off of the lake and literally showed us around the area. things like that. I have reached out to Lexington County Sheriff's Department once or twice in the past when this started happening. Of course, I never heard anything back from them.
No, you don't say.
No,
their phone only works one direction.
Right, exactly. So, but I never got any feedback or anything from anybody at Lexington County.
Yeah, that's disappointing. I think back to my time working in radio, especially like small town local radio, and literally having to get the police blotter from whoever their media relations person was, and the number of phone calls I would have to make out in order to finally get a call back.
Right.
It was, and I don't think he's even still with us, but the guy's name was Sergeant Kilgore. He was my media relations person that I had to go through. So I can safely say I don't think he's definitely not working in law enforcement anymore, but he was so hard to pin down and get what his literal job was, which was to talk to the media. So, is there anyone else involved in getting these books from manuscript to publishing? As far as like when you're writing them, do you have people read them beforehand to give you thoughts and things like that?
Oh, yes, I have several people. I usually get about 4 or 5 copies before they go to print, just for what they call author's proofs, and I pass them out. One of them's to Miss Carly here, and she reads them and she tears them apart. And I have several other coworkers that tear them apart. It's like the retired deputy or the retired detective I was telling you about.
Yeah.
It's like he'll highlight a bunch of stuff. This wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen. This would happen first. That kind of thing. So, yeah.
Do you enjoy that process, or does it ever feel like nitpicking? Does it feel like what is it you feel when they tear them apart like that? And she's here. Pretend like she's not.
Yeah. Sometimes it does feel nitpicky, but I look at it and I go, well, they're right.
Yeah.
So,
How often do you look at the notes that they give you and go, well, does it ever feel like a relief? Like, this is, I wanted to change that, or yeah.
Right.
That's how it sometimes feels.
For sure.
That's good. Okay. You're passed. You're good. Quotation marks.
They are.
Describe, what do you mean as far as like when someone's speaking versus not speaking?
Yeah. I have a bad habit of, I'll start a quotation mark when they start speaking and I forget to close the quotation mark at the end, something like that. Because certain programs that I have that help with punctuation and that kind of stuff, for whatever reason, they do not find quotation.
Oh, this one character running along into a whole next chapter without having breathed.
Right. So they just, yeah.
That's all right. I get it. So when what is next for you? I know that we have August 1st, which is coming up. Trying to think when this episode releases. Actually, by the time this episode releases, your next book will have published.
Right.
And this is the 6th book in the series of the Lake Murray murders.
Right.
What is the title of that one? I think can I pull it out?
Absolutely.
Is it okay? Okay. So, Death's Revenge by Stephen Jacobs, part of the book number 6 of the Lake Murray murders. So tell me about the title, because Death's Revenge. So what is it about Death's Revenge without giving it away?
Well, let's just say something from somebody's past comes to haunt them.
Okay.
So somebody died in the past, and a couple people, a group of people, thought they got away with it.
Oh.
But now all of a sudden, family members of this certain group start passing away, and come to find out they didn't get away with anything. It just took so a while for somebody to get payback.
Oh, okay. Okay. Have have you ever considered, because I assume, and again, I'll admit I have not yet read them, have any of the actual murders that have taken place in your books, could they ever be considered like an instruction manual? I mean, you have a detective going through the process of telling you what would happen first, but I assume that's in the investigation. That's not you. Yeah,
Yeah. Could they be in the instruction manual? No, because like I said, a lot of mine are based in history or have something to do with history, something that would have happened in the past that kind of relates to today. So,
okay.
It's kind of hard to make them.
Yeah, I get that. I am always just in awe of people that can take what's in their head and put it into something to be consumed by so many people. When you look at some of the things that go on now, whether it's, potential headlines, stories, politics, things like that, like, do you look at some of that stuff and say to yourself whether or not that's something that would make for an interesting story potentially 15, 20 years down the line? I know we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but I look at some of the stuff that we have go on and I'm just like, this is right out of a book.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Absolutely, yeah.
When I'm assuming there's going to be a 7th. You're going to,
yeah, more than likely.
When do you think you'll potentially retire the Lake Murray murders?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, like I said, as long as people keep asking for them, I'll keep writing them. So
yeah.
When they get tired of them, I guess I'll move on to something else.
That's great. No, I think that's terrific because I wish that people wanted me to produce something. Oh, well, okay. Podcast aside, I think the only thing that I'll set the world on fire with is my kids, hopefully. Yeah, no, I think it's great. So you're going to stick to the Lake Murray world. Is there another era that you would potentially consider writing in the future?
Well, like I said, yeah, I do have another smaller series that only has 3 books right now. I just started a 4th book. It's about a 1920s police detective that people actually have started reading since they go through all the Lake Murray books in a hurry. They start jumping to my second series. So the book I'm just now starting is going to deal with something that happens during the construction of the Lake Murray Dam.
Okay.
So it's going to have a lot to do with this area in the 20s.
Okay. That's really neat. I think something I read when they built the second dam for Lake Murray was that there is a fault line apparently that runs directly through along the Saluda River, directly under Lake Murray. And I assume where you all live, which is in the on the other side of the lake from here. But you all have felt some of the earthquakes that we have pretty frequently now. Is that something that piques your interest at all when it comes to, could Lake Murray Dam collapse in a story?
I don't know, because a lot of the disaster things have been done, redone and told and retold, so to the point where they're just kind of, we've all seen it before.
No, I think that's good. Ultimately, I feel like sometimes when it comes to disasters, like it's a cash grab.
Yes.
And that takes away from who the author is or what it is they're trying to do.
Exactly. Like when, of course, COVID was happening, and when before COVID, it was
we had the recession in 2008.
All that, people started writing all kinds of stuff about that. I mean, it's just one thing right after.
We're gonna have polio again soon. Measles is making a comeback. Right. We got all these. We get to benefit from all of this. So, okay, where can people grab the books? I know we mentioned Amazon, but you have a website. What is your website address?
Stephen Jacobs, author Stephen Stephen Jacobs, author. What is it? I don't know.
It might be. It's right here.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Stephen Jacobs, author.
Yeah.
StephenJacobsAuthor.com. And the books are also they're available through Amazon.
Amazon, they're on the website, and occasionally when he hasn't run out, they are available at Creekside Restaurant in Lexington.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What a great place.
The only place that you can buy them locally is Creekside Restaurant.
That's had you gotten a punch card on the number of breakfasts and he was like, all right, we're gonna.
No, I love Kurt to death. The one thing he is, he's squeaky tight. He doesn't give anything away for free.
No, I don't doubt that. Hey, I think what you're doing is fantastic, and I really appreciate you, Stephen, coming on and being here. So make sure all you have to do is search for Stephen Jacobs on Amazon. Go to authorstephenjacobs.com. As well, you're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and I assume Threads and like that. So all of that's available on his website. So definitely go check that out. I guess last thing I'll just say, go check out the Lake Murray Murders. I will order book 1 and start with it, and then I'll absolutely update it. At some point on this podcast, I want to do a book club episode, like once a month, of a book that we've read. So I think we could absolutely do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So if you're into the small town Southern mysteries, absolutely check out Stephen Jacobs' books. I think that I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. So I look forward to doing that and reading through them. Anything else you want to tell us before we check out?
Just if you have any ideas, anything about local area that could be turned into a good murder mystery or any kind of a mystery at all, drop me a line. Let us know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's terrific. All right. Well, thank you, Stephen, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carly, for letting us have him for a little bit. I really appreciate it. That is going to wrap it up for this episode. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, social media, all available at our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. And if you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show? You get access to this episode early as well as exclusive content. You can visit members.theallaboutnothing.com. You can sign up there, or you can find a link on our webpage. You can also give us a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533, or you can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com, or you can join our Discord server. There are links on our webpage. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.
The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Big Media and produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow Everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the producer. You can follow me across social media by visiting Linktree/Barrett Gruber. And you can follow Zach King on Linktree/AAN Zach. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. To find links to our social media, podcast platforms, and merchandise to support the show, as well as past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can email theshow@theallaboutnothing.com, or you can call our number and leave a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our sister shows. What the Pod Was That with Carrie, Zach, and myself. Welcome to Wonderland with Ami. Politically Speaking with Erica, Kirsten, and Emily, and Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks and Bill Kimmler. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and punch that notification bell. Thank you for listening, and hear us next week. The preceding podcast is solely owned by the host or hosts and is distributed by Big Media, LLC. Copyright 2026.
Well, you've made it to the end. You survived the rambling, the tangents, and whatever nonsense we just subjected your ears to. Congratulations. Now that your brain is sufficiently scrambled, how about doing something productive for democracy? Before you go off to forget everything you just heard, do yourself a favor and double-check that your voter registration is actually legit at theallaboutnothing.com/voter. It's about the only way to make sure your vote counts, even if your taste in podcasts is questionable.